Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome aboard the Max Afterburner podcast, sponsored by the universe of No Fallen Heroes. I am Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz, and solo Whiz today. Got a lot to update. Hopefully you checked out the past couple podcasts, Jack Maxwell and Tracy Trost and Chicken, my brother Chicken, Denver firefighter, first responder to the Columbine Massacre, healing human being. Just a great couple of podcasts. So make sure you go back and check those out because they are very, very awesome. Hopefully stepping in and doing some work with Tracy moving forward. Let me get you up to speed with a lot of news. Flew up to Nashville a couple weeks ago to the Student Veterans of America convention. Wow, just good. What a great organization, too, because when you think about it, you know, a lot of folks go serve their country because they can't afford college, right? Which makes the Biden student loan bailout even more disgusting. Could you imagine being the parents of a young woman or a young man who went to serve their country to pay for college and got killed in Iraq or Afghanistan? And then you wake up to the news that Joe Biden's just erasing like student, loan debt for some people. It's a disgrace. You didn't think about those people, did you, Mr. President? You didn't think about the young men and women who died serving their country, trying to pay for school. You're just going to take a pen and kind of wipe out debt. It's a disgrace. You wonder why we can't make our recruiting goals. Anyway, it's a great organization. Why to go on that little rant to start? Because think about it. These men and women, they come back from serving their country. They're sitting in a classroom, probably a lot older than some of the folks sitting in that classroom, and certainly with different life experiences after having served in the military. So it can be a very lonely existence on a college campus. And then guess what started happening? You notice some other guy or gal's backpack, like, okay, that looks a little military-ish. Hey, did you serve? I did. So they all kind of congealed, and, campuses started having, veterans associations, and then it kind of nationalized. So great organization, Student Veterans of America. We were up there, had a little bit of a booth announcing a nice giveaway. Post Malone, great American, born on the 4th of July. He's giving some backstage passes away. You get to hang out with Post and also get to fly in a fighter jet. So we were up there. We had a little booth. So next year, they're going to honor Post with a big award, and we're also going to announce the winners of that contest and who's going to get to go flying in a jet with me. I don't know if that's a win for some people. Minimum $25 donation to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. So go to nofallenheroes.com, click on donate. Minimum of $25. If whenever we go through there, when we select the contest winners randomly, we're just going to look at who donated $25 over the past year or more, and you're in. If you can't physically fly in a fighter jet, we'll allow you to transfer that to a buddy. So up there for that, and meeting with executives of LIV, Living Entertainment, and I think we got a deal, man. I think we're getting airborne with a docu-series looking like 6 episodes, and then they also want like 3 1-hour documentaries. It's been a long time coming. As many of you know, following us and supporting No Fallen Heroes, the foundation, and all our other initiatives. So thank you for the support. We're getting there. It's been a drag, man, but Liv and Rebecca and her team could not be more leading with their heart. Streaming sucks right now, right? Whether it's Netflix or Amazon Prime. You want to watch a series about the devil having sex with a teenager? Go to Netflix. So Liv started with a really good group of investors for good content. I loved when I saw their deck for the first time. It's like number 1 movie is Maverick, and number 1 streaming is The Terminal List. Doesn't get any more. Both Navy movies. Maverick, Navy fighter pilot, Terminal List, Navy SEAL, delivering justice to people. That's the type of content that they want. Good, wholesome American content. There really is a silent majority, so to speak, in this country that is tired of seeing crap on TV. So we'll see. This is the closest that we've been. So Tracy, Jack Maxwell, check out that podcast, working with Tracy and his team to develop show lines and everything like that. Why is this important? People need to see it. I'm still trying to get from Maps the video of my speech at the veterans dinner and the first responder dinner, where Chicken was in the audience and said, "This is the way I'm doing this after listening to me." You guys know me. I think I'm robbing a village somewhere of an idiot. But if you lead with your heart and your truth, you can't fail. So documenting all of this, you give me a couple minutes with somebody and I kind of tell them my story, or my brother Daniel Carcillo tells his story, or any of these other veterans or first responders like Chicken, or Army helo dudes like Brent, or, military dependents like Coco. Guess what? People start changing their minds. Subtle plug, Netflix, good series, How to Change Your Mind. Michael Pollan book. Great book. They made it into a 4-part series. If you're interested in these medicines, you have got to watch How to Change Your Mind on Netflix. Back to why this documentaries are really important, because people need to see the success. It's one thing to listen to a podcast. It's one thing to go to a dinner in Denver at Psychedelic Science and listen to me. But to see it, to see the before work that our beautiful director of medicine operations, Nicole Fox, does, a lot of heavy lifting before you go to sit with these sacred medicines. This isn't, hey, when this retreat starts, I'll meet you there. No way, man. Absolutely not. We treat these medicines with the respect and reverence, and treat it like a combat mission, man. We brief, we do our intel gathering, we have our mission objectives, boom. So you need to see that. The average American needs to see the process, that this isn't recreational. 99.9% of the people that are like, oh, I tried this stuff and it sucked, or I had a bad experience. I usually give a good sigh, because I know the questions to ask, and I don't even need to ask, because I guarantee I know why. Right? Set and setting. What was your mindset to go? I was just going to a concert to have fun. Yeah. And then the setting. Oh, it was kind of, yeah, okay. It's almost like these medicines, when they give you, quote, a bad experience, there was a reason. So again, I want the average American to see the process of what happens before we go and sit with these medicines, and then the process during the medicine. You see fighter pilots, SEALs, first responders in it, getting a chance to heal. Man, we were out in Colorado, Chicken and Brent, just at one point, they just started laughing. They were crying and laughing. Like at just the beauty of everything. How the trauma, while still there, they got to look at it differently. And that it's supposed to be about love and understanding and empathy and compassion, and quoting Susie, it's fine. It's always fine. So showing the American public what goes on at one of these retreats, because it kind of sounds like, ooh, we don't know. And then the most important part of this docu-series, or the documentaries, will be showing the integration. You know my ratio, man. 5% is the medicine going to do the medicine. 95% is the integration, and it's work. These are not magic. This isn't it. There is a lot of work required when you get home. So we're going to document all of that stuff to show and help change people's opinions. Because it's edumacation. That's what we need. We need to educate people on this stuff, because there's a lot of ignorance, right? And I got my Gnostic Gospels right here. We're going to dig into some stuff, because since the last time I had a solo Whiz rant, it seems like, and I hesitate to use the word attack, because that's an old Whiz term, right? I've been attacked on social. I don't feel attacked. Old me, ego up, shields up. I'm being attacked, counterattacked, dogfight. Nope. So not attacked, but people And it's interesting to me. So we're going to get into a little history. And it's just interesting to me that the most religious types that are engaging, I'm going to hesitate from using the word attack, the most religious types that are engaging on social media or in general are the most, you would think that the most religious people would be what? Full of empathy and compassion and understanding. That could not be further from the truth. These people are the exact opposite. This is the only way to worship God. Anything else is a sin. It's this one guy, I talked at the MAPS dinner, at the Veteran and First Responder dinner, about my first ibogaine journey when I was experienced my sister and my father. And then clearly let me lead with that. This is what I experienced was absolutely God. This massive white energy and light and love. Not going to rehash all of it. Episode 7, shameless plug. That's what you need to listen to get up to speed. Why do I bring this up? Because this one gentleman, in response to a short portion of that clip, said, those were demons and you did not experience God. He kind of took a flamethrower, right? So let me get this straight. The demons, right? It was a demon. It wasn't God. So this demon gave me time with my father and my sister and demonstrated to me that they've never left, that they are with me and my daughter and the trees, and they are right here on this podcast. A demon did that. A demon, after me losing my faith for decades, after childhood sexual trauma, losing my sister, 16 buddies gone flying fighters, 3 suicides, alcohol, drugs. That massive white light energy love forgave me for all of those things and took away that pain. That was a demon. After losing my faith and reconnecting with God, that was a demon. Coming home and alcohol was destroyed. I can have a glass of wine now with steak, but 99.9%, a glass of wine with my steak, old Whiz, was the bottle. Or, let's keep it going, it's 2. So destroyed alcohol, made me a better husband, father, human being. That was a demon. It's incredible to me. And I lead, and in my responses, you can go look at the clip, and there's a bunch of other, quote, religious folks like that who come after it. These things are, let me get this straight. So plants that God, if you believe in God and you believe God made this whole thing and put stuff here, do you think God, and we talked about this, I don't know how many podcasts ago, I'm like, I don't think God is that bored that he sits there and goes, I'm going to make a reverse me. Or I have a bunch of angels and that dude's a bad one and now he's the devil and we compete against each other. There's absolute evil in this world. I get it. But I don't think he, she, it made a reverse he, she, it. Oh, and that's another thing that really twists people off. God is a man, Whiz. You need to get back to church. I'm like, wow. And I get it. Because they pick up the Bible and say that Jesus said, my Father and this Father in heaven. I did not something that was full of love, light, energy, forgiveness. It wasn't a dude with a white beard on a throne. That's not what I experienced. That's what I grew up with as an altar boy in the Catholic Church. That's what I was ordered to believe in, sitting on a big throne, and you had to look up. Heaven's up, hell's down, hell's in the middle of the earth, hellfire. So it's always interesting to me. Again, I will always lead with, this is my experience. But these uber religious types lead with, you're wrong. That is wrong. That was the devil. This is evil. You need to find God again, or all sorts of stuff. They never lead with any compassion, any empathy. And I get it, man. I get it. That's ego. But if they actually took the time to reflect on organized religion, man, organized religion is one of the most horrific things to happen to society. So let's get back to plants and plant medicine. This might piss you off, and I really don't care if it pisses you off. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So if you feel attacked, that's on you, man. Since man looked up at stars and stuff like that, these things were laying around. Ain't no dudes in lab coats, ain't no beakers or Bunsen burners. There was this. There was forests, there were trees, there were mushrooms, there were animals. Somebody took something at a certain point and recognized something larger than themselves, than this planet. They felt connected to, first of all, everything around them, people and things, and that there was something else that was massive and loving and kind. And guess what? So let me just lead with this. And again, this one will get me more hate, and I hope you heal. Psychedelics, folks. And that's probably your problem right there, is that word made up by two dudes in the 60s. Mind manifesting. It's two Greek words put together. Mind manifesting. So psychedelics kind of a made up word by a couple dudes that were writing letters back and forth to each other. What do we call this thing? You know what I like? Entheogen. Maybe I'll start using that. But again, man, if you hear the word psychedelic and your head tilts sideways, you believe the government. Guess what happened yesterday? Anthony Fauci, who should be in jail. Where'd the 6 feet social distancing thing come from? Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't scientific. I think we just kind of made that up. Trust the science. I lost a bunch of Facebook, Twitter accounts for questioning the science. Science that can't be questioned is religion. And they lied to you. Thank God I lived in the free state of Florida, man. We freaked out for about 2 weeks, and then we're like, you know what? Live your life. I'm going to the beach. You can do whatever you want. You can wear your face diaper and be 6 feet away from people. Why wasn't it 5? Why wasn't it 7 feet? We just kind of made that up. Anyway. So if your head tilts or you cringe a little at the word psychedelic, why don't you look at why? Before it jumped out of the lab, that's what they say, psychedelics were being used who dreams up the internet or personal computers, dudes, on psychedelics in the Bay Area? They were sitting in ceremonies. The Bay Area, California, this was psychologists, psychiatrists using these medicines to help people heal. LSD. Watch How to Change Your Mind on how LSD came about. It's from a grain, folks. It's ergot. Anyway, jumped the lab, right? Timothy O'Leary. I get what the dude was saying, but Nixon eventually called him the most, dangerous man in America. Well, when you're running around saying we should put LSD in the water, I get it. I get what was behind that. You guys know me. If I could kidnap Putin and Zelensky and throw them in a retreat for a weekend to an ibogaine, they'd be best friends. Wars would end. I guarantee you. So, jump the lab, gets into the counterculture, and then obviously, what was going on at the time, man? Race issues, a war. Lyndon Johnson. If we don't stop them Vietnam and them gooks, it's going to domino theory. They'll be walking into Hawaii. We need to fight the yellow man on the other side of the planet. What? You want to fly me to the other side of the world to kill the Vietnamese? Why? Oh, and by the way, I took some stuff that makes me love those people, and I love you. I want to stick flowers down the barrel of your gun, and then we're going to shoot you at Kent State. So, ladies and gentlemen, who was it? Just flew out of my head. Nixon, one of Nixon's chiefs of staff or right-hand man, said, yeah, we said weed, African Americans. We tarred them with the weed and the psychedelics over to the hippies, the counterculture. These were anti-American and subversive. The poor African American community in this country got destroyed. So back to, if you hear the word psychedelic and you think it's a demon or this or stuff, you believe the narrative. Question the narrative. God, the most infinite loving being that has ever been and will always be, could have made us to be what? Lemmings. 24/7 bowing to him, if that makes you happy. Bowing to God. God didn't, gave us free will. To enjoy this in the infinite span of time, it's not even a blink of an eye how long we will be here. We're supposed to be here enjoying this. This should be a slice of heaven. I'm going to tell you in the Gospel of Thomas, or I'm not going to tell you, Jesus is going to tell you through the Gospel of Thomas. Oh, Whiz, the Gospel of Thomas is not approved. It's not in the Bible. Why? Why don't you just sit there and start asking questions instead of believing everything? The more medicine work I do, the less I know. That's why I love when I get Chambro vibes from folks. As this industry grows, man, the Chambros, whatever, I don't know, what do you call a female? Anybody who tells you that they know the more medicine work they do, the like smarter they're getting or whatever. There's a difference between wisdom and experience, right? I've sat with medicine a couple times. I get experience in like holding space and the tactics of it. But at a strategic level, the more layers you peel off, man, the more you go, wow, I don't know anything. I do know there's God, and I do know we're supposed to love each other for this brief period of time. Not that God can weep, but I guarantee you, I actually was with God as we came back from looking at everything in the universe, and I looked at this blue spaceship. Blue, white, little green spaceship. And God just kind of shrugged and said, look at what you all are doing to this thing. War, racism, poverty. You're supposed to be loving each other. What have you done? Well, God, what have we done? In your name, some people believe that if we don't worship the right way to you, we can cut your head off. Whether it's Islam, Christianity, the fucking Crusades, man. God. So let me go back to use the word pagans, right? And guess who was at the center of these type of ceremonies? Women. A human that has the ability to give life. It doesn't get any more incredible than the ability to create life. Women were the center of society and the priestesses. Priestess? I don't know if there's a lot of S's in there, but they, and go all the way back to Greece, folks, the Eleusinian mysteries. And again, I have got to plug the Immortality Key, Brian Muraresku. If you don't want to read a Dan Brown novel, Google Brian Muraresku on YouTube. I've watched about 10 hours of Brian giving various talks, and I learn more and more each time. The Religion with No Name, it's called. He has all the evidence. Hasn't done, he'll tell you, he's like, he's like, the medicine might call me someday, but he is an investigative guy, went from Wall Street to finding this. I'm telling you. He's got all the documentation, went to the Vatican archives. He's done the research. Greece, Eleusius, folks. They annual pilgrimage. All the Plato and all the philosophers, and they all spoke of going there, sitting in ceremony essentially, and having a life-changing experience. I think it said above the gates, die before you die. So we were doing pretty damn good by ourselves, being one-on-one with whatever word you want to call it. Something bigger than us. And you know me, I'm going to ripple through them all. God, source, truth, divine, universe, spirit. I choose to use the word God. Then what happens? And Greece is clicking along. They're enjoying it. Being able to commune one-on-one with our creator, my creator. I don't know if you believe it was our creator. Along comes Christianity. Birth of Christ. Man, the guy came to try and help us out, didn't he? And what did we end up doing to him? That had to happen, right? In order to show us, right? Even that man, and I will say man, called out, my God, why have you forsaken me? My Father has forsaken me. So Christianity came along. Again, this is a great book. It's a quick read. Gnostic Gospels. Mary Magdalene, man. I got to go back to Mary Magdalene. So Christianity comes along. No. There's only this way. There's Jesus, and this is God, and all this shit is gone. You take what? No. That stuff's now illegal because we're going to tell you what God says. We're going to tell you. You listen to us, we'll listen to God. And by the way, pay us a lot of what you make for the right to not communicate directly with God. What a racket. What an absolute racket. So what happened? People who were spiritual still wanted to kind of commune with God the way they had been. I kind of have a direct line with, nope, you're a witch. Women, hell, burn them at the stake. Women, second-class citizens. We now have priests or whatever. Women, absolute historic travesty what's happened to the role of women in society. We're getting there. Back. Givers of life, connected to the spiritual realm, and they got stamped out, man. So I am somebody who questioned, as a result of these medicines, the narrative. The Irish Catholic altar boy, Blessed Sacrament in Margate, New Jersey, St. Augustine Prep, all boys Catholic high school. Thanks, Mom and Dad. So if anything, these medicines got rid of, at the time, 52 years of crap, shame, regret, drugs, alcohol, trauma, depression, anxiety, and kind of they said, hey, bring pictures of you when you were a kid and meaningful pictures. And man, that picture of me is a little towhead living in Margate, New Jersey on the beach with that smile and plaid shirt buttoned all the way up to the top. Looking at the innocence of that child. And now, as an adult, being able to reframe everything I was taught. You don't go to church on every Sunday, Edward Matthew Buckley in the Catholic Church. It's a mortal sin. What's a mortal sin? You will burn in hell forever. Your skin will be burning in hellfire. Saying that to a kid? So I get it. If you're hearing this, these medicines are evil. That is a demon. It's made you, These experiences have brought me closer to God, closer to myself, closer to heaven. In the Gospel of Thomas, let's get back to that real quick. Couple hundred years with the Council of whatever. There's been a bunch of after Jesus died, maybe we should write a book about what this guy said and his experience and everything like that. Could you imagine doing that today? How many different factions would want to be in and no, take that out and this and that. And no, Mary Magdalene, she was a whore. I'm pretty sure she may have even been married to Jesus and clearly was his closest confidant. In many of these Gnostic Gospels, the apostles would go to her and say, hey, what's he saying or what's he up to? Or you're closer than we are. Can you hook us up with some intel? No. She first one to see Jesus rise from the dead. So she was relegated to a second-class citizen. Thank you, Catholic Church, for starting to get up to speed with that wasn't right, what we did to her. I mean, Mother Mary has always been kind of in an exalted status, but I'm telling you, man, reading this stuff this is documented, folks. These things were excluded for a reason. If you're going to sit there and tell me they weren't put in the Bible because Jesus said not to put them in there, I could not disagree more. Before Jesus died on the cross, did he look at his apostles and Mary and go, write all this stuff down, keep this stuff out and blah? No, come on, man. Are you kidding me? This is all oral until a bunch of people sat down in a room and said, here's what's going to be official. I've been to these conferences, folks. Trading, business. I've been to military conferences. I went to Top Gun, tactical conferences. Well, I think we should roll in at 52 degrees. No, it's a 51-degree dive angle, Whiz, and So please don't sit here and tell me that things that weren't included in the official version of the Bible are wrong or, whatever. It hits me wrong. I can tell you now that I've read the Gospel of Thomas, which is take you 10 minutes. It's a short read. There's a lot that matches some of the other Matthew Gospels, but there's a lot that isn't in the Gospel of Thomas. You know some of the things that aren't? The kingdom of heaven is not up. If you're always looking up for the kingdom of heaven, the birds will precede you. I'm paraphrasing. I almost had this down verbatim. Jesus, at least according to the Gospel of Thomas, the heaven is inside of us. The Gospel of Thomas talks about a lot of inner work. There's a beautiful saying, I don't know who to attribute it to. I searched for God and found me. I searched for me and found God. Don't drive off the road and don't have your face peel off right now. I'm not implying that I am God, you are God, but I absolutely will take to my deathbed. We are absolutely part of God. All of us. On my 5-MeO DMT, sitting in the front of the Millennium Falcon, I went from 0 to white. And I'm telling you, as real as me sitting on this podcast, I was one with God. This infinite being of love and light and energy. And we all were. But the dude, if you think it's a dude, has got 51% of the vote, man. The guy's the founding member of everything. But that's what's funny. Some people, you're practicing idolatry or something. Man, get back to church. Wow. I see God in everything. I see God in people. I see God in this beautiful day here in God's waiting room of Boca Raton. But question the narrative. Now you know why a Richard Nixon and Republicans had a war on drug. Ronald Reagan, just say no. Because these medicines allow you to delete decades potentially of funk, of, I will say, knowledge, to be replaced with wisdom. Marcus Luttrell's Beautiful Bride, I think she makes the Pope look Jewish. She could not be more Catholic. She told me, you know what, Whiz, before you guys went to Mexico, she was one of these people. Not bad, but she would tell you, she goes to church 3 days a week. The flowers on on Valhalla, their ranch, they bring them to church. I mean, hell, Marcus is now, I think he's called as a deacon in the Catholic Church, but she was a little leery about Marcus going to do these things. Why? Programming. Demons opens the door. It's witchcraft. It's subversive, whatever. And then Marcus came home. She saw radical change. Radical healing. So this uber Catholic sat with the toad, sat with 5-MeO-DMT. And I'm paraphrasing, but, it was kind of like, I lost my faith, Whiz. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. I don't need it anymore. I got it. I could not agree more with Melanie. I saw, and I wrote this down in my journal, it's at home, I saw my faith in action. I think that's how I wrote it. Or I experienced my faith in action. I wrote that in my chicken scratch in the kitchen at the Mission Within in Mexico. So, if you hung on this far, if you were one of these people, what's left in the attack? Attacking other people's beliefs, religions, is the reason we're at wars essentially almost all around the planet, except Ukraine and Russia, clearly just land grab and stupidity and all sorts of crap. Taiwan, China's going to try and eat Taiwan, another land grab and stuff. But you guys know, Middle East, are you kidding me? Israel, the Holy Land, Gaza, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank. I mean, God, millennia. These people have been killing each other over religion. Anybody see that stopping anytime soon? I do. If we all I'm not going to go Timothy Leary, LSD in the water. The more people heal, the more you heal yourself, you're going to make the world a better place. I've told you countless times on this podcast and countless times I speak to people, these medicines have the power to turn warriors into peacemakers. That doesn't sound too good to Raytheon and Boeing and Lockheed Martin, Whiz. Yeah, I know it doesn't. Trust me. I'm still torn about the 1.5 minutes of spending. Joe Biden signed the National Defense Authorization Act last month. There's funding in there for research into active duty use of these medicines. That's awesome. Great headline. How much? $10 million. That's a minute and a half of spending. And I did new math because the budget they just submitted is an extra we are closing in on $35 trillion of debt in this country. A government that steals 30 to 50% of your money is $35 trillion in debt, folks. So when I did some of the new math, I'm a political science major, so forgive me if this is wrong. It's a minute of spending. And I get it. I get some texts, some phone calls, and some gentle elbows like Whiz. I'll finish their sentence. It's a slap in the face. It's lip service to the veterans and first responders and their family members who need this healing. And it's air cover for big pharma, the alcohol and tobacco lobbies. I guarantee you. Well, let's try and go, wisdom of Solomon here. We'll give them a little bit of funding, but it ain't going to be anything. It'll be a minute worth of funding. Am I that much of a cynic? Yeah, I kind of am. Let me say this again. There's a slaughter on a daily basis. There's a mass shooting. You haven't heard it? 22 killed in mass shooting every day. Whoa, 30 today, 44 today, 15 today. Could you imagine if every time you turned on the radio, the TV, or opened your phone, you saw those headlines on a daily basis in the United States? Guess what? Those are the headlines, and you're not seeing them. Depending on who you talk to, 17, 22, 44, veterans are taking their own lives every day. Folks, that's veterans. That's not active duty. That's not first responders. That's not family members. I don't even want to know what those numbers are. My point being is all the swamp creatures in D.C. would freak the fuck out and say, oh my God, even Republicans probably at that point would go, oh my God, we should probably ban guns or something. If it saves just one life, wouldn't it be worth it? To my esteemed lawmakers, I'm not going to call you leaders, to the lawmakers in D.C., to the politicians in D.C., you need to legalize these medicines today for therapeutic use. Why? If it saves just one life, wouldn't it be worth it? Clearly, veterans' lives are not that important. I told you the story about the one congressman appropriator I met with. The 22, 44 numbers weren't moving the needle with an appropriator guy. You know what moved the needle? The math. Well, if we reduce some of these suicides, the VA would be spending less. It would be more money for the DOD. And I kind of did some cocktail napkin math. He's like, oh, geez, now you're talking. Are you fucking kidding me? You care more about the math and the money than the human lives. The fucking Pentagon has failed its seventh audit in a row. The Pentagon cannot account for their money. They can't account for weapon systems. They're just, Can you imagine if you ran your business or your home like this? You failed your seventh audit in a row. But Whiz, you need to be thankful that Joe Biden approved $10 million. Shut the... Namaste. Let me get centered. But you guys know as well as I do, that was nothing but lip service and well, we need to research these things. Who's we? If you listen to the beginning of this podcast, you know that we have been using these medicines for thousands and thousands of years. But now we in the West are going to pretend like we just found them. And we need lab coats and beakers and double-blind random testing and everything. How about you speed that the fuck up if you actually need that? Or, stay with me here, Deputy Secretary of Defense or SecDef, who, could you imagine, you're the Secretary of Defense. Your troops are being attacked in the Red Sea and in Iraq on a daily basis. You go to have elective surgery and you don't tell anybody. You don't tell the commander-in-chief. You don't tell the chain of command. It's actually against the law. You're in the nuclear chain of command. You are one of the dudes that has to turn your missile key. Can you fucking believe this? The most transparent administration. We're going to hold people accountable. You're fired. Mr. Secretary, I'm sorry for the prostate cancer. I hope you heal from your surgery. The fact that you disappeared the fact that guy could disappear for a week and nobody noticed. Why do we have a Secretary of Defense? Unbelievable. If you're a corporal in the Marine Corps and you disappear to go to dental and don't tell anybody, they'd rip your throat out. The rules are for thee, but not for we. Unbelievable. I don't know a veteran who I've spoken to since this news broke that's not like he was fired immediately, right? Or he resigned. No. The president said he has his full faith in him. Of course he does. DEI. Oh, man. What I was ranting about when I said Secretary of Defense, of course, it brought me back to the news this week. But what I'm ranting about is because one of these deputy undersecretary for left and right affairs or whatever, so much bureaucracy, folks. Like, we need to study. However, this lady flowery worded this, I'm like, get on a plane, man. Why don't you come and hold space at one of our retreats? Why don't you fly to Gabon or Costa Rica or Mexico or sit in ceremony with us in Oregon or Colorado? Why don't you get out of your office in the Pentagon and be boots on the ground with us? Does anybody have an answer as to why not? Brings me back to a couple of visits to Capitol Hill where what? You're going to have a problem with Big Pharma, Whiz. That ain't my problem, man. You know exactly what's going to happen. I gave you some hot stock tips. I hope you listened to them. Did you buy a tie? ATAI. This week, Christian Angermeyer, love the guy's name, bought a shitload more of his stock. Take a look at a tie, ATAI. Look at MindMed, MNMD. MindMed. And Compass, CMPS. Charlie Mike Papa Sierra. Buy the psychedelic stocks with both hands. Why did you just give me this stock tip? Because Big Pharma ain't stupid. They're going to let these they're publicly traded psychedelic companies, folks. They're going to let them burn through a lot of cash to do the research that Uncle Sam won't go listen to a medicine woman in the Amazon about. They're going to burn through all these placebo and double blind study and this and that. And they're going to, and we're seeing it, right? MAPS, Rick Doblin, great American man, filing a new drug application for MDMA, should be approved by the FDA sometime this year. MDMA legal for therapeutic use. The amount of lives that have been lost, let's be positive, the amount of lives that will be saved. How many times have I told you about this study? People with non-treatable PTS. Don't add the D. It's not a disorder. It's an injury. Non-treatable PTS. 2 studies, phase 3 trials. First one, 67. Second one, 71% of people clinically, for lack of a better word, healed. They showed 0 signs of PTS after going through the MDMA therapy. And combined with talk therapy. This wasn't just, hey, I'm taking some MDMA in an office and I feel great. There's work. I've told you there's work involved. But Big Pharma is going to swoop in eventually and say, all these companies, here's a check, you're done. It's all ours. So I'm torn. As Whiz, I don't want that to happen. That's the last thing we need is Pfizer and Moderna. It's time for your 8th booster shot. That's the last thing in the world I want to happen. But I'm bipolar, so that's Whiz talking. Now I'm also going to be Gordon Gekko or Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. Good. I am invested in all those names, and I'm going to make a shitload of money. That's why I'm bipolar. So get in those names. That rant was brought to you by congressmen and people on Capitol Hill saying, "Oh, well, the reason, this stuff the reason people, not we, are dragging their feet is, it's Big Pharma, man. They have become literally a laughingstock. Travis Kelce, Booster Boy, these companies, they're lying through their teeth, folks. It's about profit. Again, Gordon Gekko, Jordan Belfort, good. They have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders. They do a freaking great job at it, don't they? You need another inverse booster. And we'll do these things, but I want the government to sign this thing that says we're indemnified. You can't sue us with all the adverse side effects. What? Yeah. What a great business model. Anyway, you know what they're doing, folks. You've heard me say this a bunch. You can't patent a root and you can't trademark a toad. Guess what they're doing with their beakers and their lab coats? Well, Whiz did ibogaine. So it was a 10 to 14 hour journey. And, we have people who need to go to yoga and then go be in car line. So they only have an hour in the afternoon. So we're going to change one molecule and make it ibogainer. And, now it's patented and we're going to charge $5,000. The good thing though, folks, again, God's a smart pharmacologist. You can't patent a root. You can't trademark a toad. There will be places, folks. Healing is free. Healing should be free. So it is free. You can go mushrooms in your house, in your yard. I'm telling you, man, again, predating all of organized religion was people taking these things that somebody put here on the earth. Isn't it funny? How can plants be illegal? I just don't. It doesn't. That doesn't. I know how it can be illegal. We just ranted about it in the middle of this podcast. I get that, but it just it amazes me to this day. I get it. We're getting there. The federal funding, attitudes changing. Doing a 6-episode docuseries and 3 one-hour documentaries is going to help move the narrative. But you all should know me well enough by now where it's about the execution, man. Let's fucking go. When I get these texts after a retreat, Whiz, I don't want to kill myself anymore. Can you put it? I was going to say, can you put $1? You can't even, there is no dollar amount. Every day, Nicole, we get these grant applications from people that are hurting, our heroes. There's not one grant request that I've seen that's bullshit. That's a lie. They're tough to read. And while these people, and you know me, I'm going to hit you right now, it's funding. Unfortunately, for now, money makes the world go round. The Buckley family, not unlimited resources. We've kind of been supporting this foundation on our own. That doesn't scale. It doesn't scale. We've been able to do a lot on our own, but man, for this year, the more that people, you encountered a demon and that wasn't God, the more, and then I love, thank you for the folks who kind of roll in with, you know, I love people's responses like, the use of these plant medicines have predated, or, you know, I love it. So thank you. Thank you for the close air support, everybody. But the more popular this becomes, not that I'm a numbers guy, but hey, you went over 30,000 followers on the No Fallen Heroes Instagram page. I'm like, okay. But, and you know, the maps video has over 500,000 views, and this other one has like 750,000. So it's, as things grow, daily basis, Instagram, DMs. Hey man, just saw this video, or I just listened to your podcast, and I'm a Marine vet and PT. It's, man, several times throughout the day, I'm forwarding people the web on nofallenheroes.com. Contact us, sponsorship intake form. So folks, we are getting a pretty significant backup on our list. I know some of our sister foundations have some pretty big waiting lists. So Joe Biden, with the stroke of a pen, can wipe out $750 billion in student loan debt. Well, no, he can't. The Supreme Court said that's unconstitutional. Well, then he changed something and said, well, I'll do it this way then. So he can take a pen and do that. But here I am begging people for $25 donations to meet Post Malone or to go fly in a fighter jet. When I put it like that, it kind of pisses me off, which is ego. Namaste. I'll get in my afternoon meditation after my rant's complete here, but it does piss me off, folks. That appropriator congressman did not take kindly to me saying, hey man, for the cost of one Abrams tank, which is going to get blown up, that you're sending to Ukraine, we could fund. He cut me off. Oh, it's 2 pots of money, Whiz. You don't talk to an appropriator like that. Hey man, when you take it out of my fucking paycheck, it's 1 pot of money. That's my pot. Well, up here, it's, that's national security money. And then this would be over here at the NDAA or the VA and all these alphabet soup. I don't give a shit, dude. We, the people, don't look at it as different pots of money. You've been here a little too long. Take 1 tank from that pot of money and put it over here. And of course, the war in Ukraine is ending up exactly how I told you it would. But good on Raytheon and Boeing and Lockheed and all the liars, the former admirals and generals who lied to us for 20 years. Everything's great in Afghanistan. Just need more weapons and more of this and more of that. Or wait, we might be getting our ass kicked. We need to surge. And then we'll be fine. 20 years of lies from our National Command Authority. Now you know why I can't be a congressman or senator or the president. Where's General McChrystal? Where's General Petraeus? General Mattis? Under testimony on this date and this time, you said this stuff. Was that true? Well, based on, of course, they're going to be able to finagle out of it, right? But the revolving door between the stars and the Pentagon and the defense, I can't believe who hasn't made that illegal yet. General, when you're done serving this great country, or Admiral, you're going to the golf course. Ain't no why do you have a kick-ass military retirement after you make a bunch of stars? So we can go make 7 figures over at Raytheon. Okay. Gross. I know a lot of those people, man. They could not be more disconnected from source. Man, I saw some funny shit the other day. I thought it was the Babylon Bee. We at Raytheon, our newest missiles, SM-2, whatever, that has this range and can kill this many people, is green and it's environmentally friendly. It wasn't a joke. Raytheon marketing green missiles that kill people was a legitimate Raytheon ad, man. You can't make this shit up. Anyway, bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, check this stuff out. This one is called the Complete Gnostic Gospels. And again, if you're sitting there like, that's not the Holy Bible, if it's not in the Holy Bible, you're going to hell. I invite you to reflect on that. I'm pretty sure somewhere in that Bible that you're going to hit me in the head with, it says something about judge not, lest ye be judged. Hell of a lot of judgment coming at people doing their own healing. I mean, is it lonely on your cross? I can't. I have a new appreciation after destroying most of my ego. Still a little bit left. Still the best fighter pilot on the planet. But man, I have a new outlook and respect for my fellow humans. I wasn't the best before the medicines. I'm a hell of a lot better now. Going to close with, we have an opportunity. Daniel Carcillo, my brother from another mother, healed 7 concussions, horrific trauma in the Blackhawks in his career playing hockey, but 2-time Stanley Cup champ in the Miami for Canada, Chicago, and use these medicines to heal. We're opening a couple, I think right now, 2 clinics in Oregon. There is a massive waiting list in the state of Oregon where using psilocybin in a therapeutic session is legal at the state level. It's illegal at the federal level. Yeah. Legal at the state level and Colorado. So DD, double deuce, DD Carcillo, Carcillo, at Gmail, if you want to potentially invest in that healing clinic. We did a brief this morning for my Top Gun Options members. You need to join TGO, man. Do something. Every Thursday is our accelerated retirement brief. And that's when I talk a lot about the psychedelic stocks. So do something at Top Gun Options, folks. It just, why not? I think we have a launch coming up. Yeah, head to go.topgunoptions.com/launchft. Launch. And FT is full throttle. I think we're in a couple weeks, we're having, I don't market. Here's how I market. I say we're doing a full throttle, a week of training and trading. You know what I do? I just invite you to our regular member sessions. Ain't no death by 1,000 PowerPoints. I show you my personal account, our model portfolios, and I treat you like you're a normal member. And we talk about the psychedelic stocks. We talk about all sorts of stuff. My personal account was up over 115% last year. If you did better than that, you call me and send me a resume. I don't know too many people who made a 3-digit return last year as we were all over the place. I did. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. But yeah, reach out to Daniel if you're interested in investing in these Oregon healing clinics. There is a wait list. The financial model, we're going to, our corporate ethos is giving back to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. We're going to start sending veterans there to treat and stuff like that. Man, the universe is looking good. I could not be more bullish on the healing space. I could not be more bearish on this country and this planet. war, inflation, racism, hate, poverty, an election year, and the rise of these healing medicines, man. God, I'm telling you the two lines on this chart, the world and the United States heading straight down, and the rise of people wanting to heal and not allow the world and the United States to go straight down. You don't need this stuff, folks. Let me end on this. You can walk on the beach, you can meditate, you can do some hot yoga, you can climb to a mountain in Nepal to heal. There are so many holotropic breath work, mindfulness, the meditation. There are so many ways to potentially heal what ails you. If you've had some radical trauma, these medicines are potential radical healing. They are not for everyone, to be absolutely clear. But as I said numerous times before, and I'm going to end on this, the medicine calls to you. If you got a little inkling, it's calling. If you're sitting there going, I have zero interest in this, it ain't calling you. That's pretty clear. But the medicine calls to you. And if the medicine is calling to you, reach out to me. You can head to nofallenheroes.com. If you're a veteran or first responder, on the Contact Us tab, on the drop down, it says sponsorship intake form. If you need a healing grant. If you're a civilian thinking about, you know what, this medicine's calling to me, but I'm not a veteran or first responder, we're having a wingman program. How about you double up, you pay for a veteran or a first responder to go on a retreat with you? We're getting a lot of interest in that. Reach out to Nicole at nofallenheroes.com for our wingman program. We're having a lot of executives like, you know what, I think I could use this, and and you're going to be best friends with everybody on that retreat, but especially the vet or first responder or family member who you helped. Or shoot me an email, Whiz at nofallenheroes.com. I got to get going. I am blessed and unstoppable. Even if listening to this made you, I'm not going to say the word hate, because you shouldn't hate anything, dislike me even more, then I pray for you. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. I love you, even if you don't see eye to eye with me. And even if we couldn't disagree more on God or the Bible or anything like this, I guarantee you I still love you, and God loves both of us. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged in this volatile market. Fights on. Namaste. And Basi, Whiz out.